Zillow just downgraded their housing price forecast again.
Here we go again.
It seems like they may have overshot their original forecast a couple of months ago. According to Zillow, it looks like there won't be much home price growth in many markets in this country in 2025. Let's dive into this and figure out what happened. Why did they change their forecast? Let's get started. Well, now people are fearful that there could be a potential collapse, the housing market's crashing, all because Zillow changed their housing price forecast. Now, I don't think it's a really bad thing that they're now predicting that home value growth is not going to increase by much. We are seeing corrections in a lot of markets in this country, but let's take a look at this article where Zillow talks about why they downgraded their housing price forecast for 2025. So in this recent article, it says Zillow economists published their updated forecast model projecting that U.S. home prices as measured by the Zillow Home Value Index will rise 0.8%, not even 1%, 0.8%. And that's between February of 2025 and February of 2026. That's another downward revision. Last month, their 12-month forecast projected a 1.1% increase in U.S. home prices. And the month before that, they expected a 2.9% increase. Ouch. The rise in active listings is fueling softer price growth as greater supply provides more options and more bargaining power for buyers. Potential buyers are opting to remain renters for longer as affordability challenges suppress demand for home purchases. Not only do Zillow economists predict soft national home price growth this year, but they're also predicting that the housing market will only see 4.1 million U.S. existing home sales in 2025. That would mark the third straight year of suppressed sales of existing homes. For comparison, in pre-pandemic 2019, there were 5.3 million U.S. existing home sales. Zillow economists added that as the home buying season nears, Zillow anticipates a temporary boost in sales during the spring, followed by a seasonal slowdown. However, with little relief from expected mortgage rates, existing home sales are likely to remain below pre-pandemic levels. Until mortgage rates fall, to improve housing affordability, some downward pressure on home sales is expected to persist. Okay, let's dive into this. So I went in and looked at Zillow's market heat index. So let's take a look at some of those southern markets that have been seeing a big softening. So if you see right here, Raleigh, North Carolina, Raleigh was a pretty hot market a few years ago. So you can see in December 2018, it had a Zillow market heat index score of 58, which was, a fairly decent market, fairly hot market. But then you look at December of 2021, it was 106. That was a hot market. But now look, December 2024, it's down to 54. Oh my gosh, it's cooled quite a bit. Let's look at Charlotte, North Carolina. Now Charlotte, they had a score in 2020 of 86. In December of 2024, that has dropped to 46. Now let's take a look at Atlanta, Georgia. In December of 2021, that heat index was a 77. December 2024, it's dropped to 44. It has cooled quite a bit. And if you look down in Florida, we have the same thing. Let's take a look at Tampa. Now, Tampa, you had a heat index in December of 2021 with a score of 74. In December of 2024, that has dropped to 43. So we're seeing all these prices come down because why? They have rising inventory. Really quick, take a look at Dallas. Dallas at one point in December 2021 had a heat index of 94. That is now down to 50. So why are these markets cooling? Because of the rise in inventory. Okay. A lot of people are moving out, especially in places like Florida because of the rising insurance rates, the whole condo situation there with the high assessment fees and the HOA fees. People want out. It's becoming harder to afford homes in Florida. Not throwing shade on Florida, but this is the reality. Other areas like these warmer states like the Carolinas and Georgia, what I think happened is now that the pandemic is long over with, there's no more remote work. A lot of people were called back into the office. Same thing that happened. It's happening in Texas too. So a lot of people flocked to Texas, and people who were able to work remotely, they went to these warmer states. Now they're called back. So I think that had a big impact as well as to why these people left. And then on top of, again, the situations with their weather, the homeowners insurance, it's just been getting super expensive to live in these states. Hey, don't forget, if you are in need of a real estate agent in your market and you need to be referred to somebody, I got your back. Click that link down below, fill out the form, and I will get back to you and get you connected to a real estate agent in your market. Let's talk about the markets that are still booming right now. There's still a lot of hot markets in this country. So this is Zillow's list of the 10 hottest markets where the sellers have the most power. We have Rochester, New York. It has a Zillow heat index score of 146. Oh my word. San Jose, California, 120. San Francisco, 91. Hartford, Connecticut, 83. Syracuse has a heat index of 81. Bridgeport, Connecticut came in at 76. Buffalo, New York, 75. Manchester, New Hampshire, 75. Boston, Massachusetts, 74. New York, 73. You're probably wondering, like, how is it now the Northeast is the hot markets? Like, what the heck? Why aren't people still flocking to the warmer states? Now, I understand affordability is an issue, but now that you have all of these homes coming on the market, why is it? So here's the thing. A lot of people do want to live near the bigger cities for their jobs and what have you. But the number one reason is the low inventory in those markets. And why do we have low inventory? People don't want to give up their homes just yet. We still have that rate lock-in effect. Did you know in 2024, 55.2% of homeowners in this entire country have mortgages below 4%, interest rates below 4%? Okay, let's go one step further. Nearly 40% of homeowners in this country own their homes outright. They have no mortgage whatsoever. So their homes are paid off. So why would they want to sell their home and possibly have to take on a mortgage when you have interest rates above 6%? And in some cases, at one point, it was pushing 7%. Why would those people want to give up their super low interest rates or no mortgage at all? I get it. And I've had a lot of you comment here on my channel on recent videos saying, like, I'm not giving up my home. You know, I want to retire, but I can't afford it because I don't want to pay the higher interest rates. They don't want to pay a higher mortgage payment. So the affordability is not just impacting home buyers, it's impacting the people who currently own a home and do want to trade up or downsize. But if they got to take on a mortgage, they don't want to do it right now. So I totally understand that. So we have this standoff going on right now. So it makes complete sense why Zillow has forecasted this, that we're not going to see much of a home price growth or even home sales in 2025. It's going to be more of the same this year. One way that this could get solved is to lower interest rates. I think that would help bring up more inventory in these markets where we're still seeing these surging prices. Because think about this, if we got the interest rates down to, say, in the 5% range, I think that would incentivize people enough to get off the fence and want to sell their home and then move to another place. It would be more affordable for them, just like it's affordable for the regular home buyers too. So I really think that's what it's going to take. Now, are those interest rates going to come down this year? Are we going to see 5%? I would not bank on that. I don't think that's going to happen. As of the end of last year, experts at Fannie Mae, CoreLogic, all of those organizations have said that they predicted that mortgage rates are going to remain in the 6% range until the end of this year. Now, there may be some small miracle or something happen where we will see those rates drop, but I wouldn't count on that. So if you're in a situation where you need to buy and you want to continue renting for a while, that's totally fine. Affordability is very challenging, as it has been for the past few years. So what you can do is I would just continue to save your money, make sure your credit is in good shape, and just wait it out. Wait it out. But if somebody was to ask me, which you all do, you ask me a lot, should I buy a house right now? If you're in these other markets, like in the South, where you're seeing a softening, if you're there, and you are in a position where you are ready to buy a home, you have to be financially ready. Don't just go out and buy a house just because it's the thing to do. If you are financially ready, yeah, I would jump on these opportunities right now. Now there's just so much inventory. There's more homes to choose from. You've got leverage. You can negotiate. You can absolutely negotiate with the home sellers now. You may even get them to pay for closing costs. Things are shifting. My hope is that this correction happens across the entire country. I really do, because this is totally unsustainable. I just shared on my live stream last week, here in New Jersey, I'm representing buyers, And the last 3 homes we put offers on, they lost out. Why? Multiple offers, and I'm talking upwards of 26 offers on one house, offered on one house here in northern New Jersey. The homes are still selling like crazy. Prices are going way over asking. And why? Because people need a home and they're throwing any amount of money at it. But my hope is that if these interest rates do come down to a more affordable point, it's going to motivate sellers to just get off the fence and put their house on the market and hopefully bring up inventory a little bit. Well, I'd like a lot more, but I'll take anything at this point. So there's your reasons why Zillow adjusted their pricing forecast. And I won't be surprised if they adjust it again, say in the next quarter, because I think it's all going to start affecting the entire country. I hope it does. I really do, because things just have to get better with this housing market. Thank you so much for watching me today to get your dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time.